dear Divyavani viewers, welcome to some reflection about especially the holy sites, because in the coming days we will be thinking of what happened in those places, and you will be able to imagine, at least to some extent, those places, which will help you to understand also what happened, and they were events connected with our redemption. Last week I explained to you how those sacred sites were, by perhaps not a planned way, by the efforts of Emperor Hadrian, they were preserved. Not that he wanted to preserve them, he didn't want the Christians to come there. And for that, what he did, he covered all that and put up statues of Jupiter and Venus, but that helped preserving all those sites, holy sites, especially Calvary and the sacred tomb sepulchre. I also shared with you some thoughts about the reports given by various travelers and historians, especially Eusebius. Constantine cleared all that rubbish and cleared those places, those sacred sites, Calvary and the Holy Sepulchre, and now they are all in a basilica, and that basilica is there from the year 335, Constantine's small church, that was further expanded, many times renewed and all that. I also explained to you very briefly about the latest renovation that took place in this month itself of the Calvary and of the sacred tomb. Today we continue the same thought about the basilica, and there I explained Calvary and the tomb. There are two more sacred sites. One is the stone on which Jesus' body, after lowering from the cross, was laid, embalmed, prepared for the burial. Very briefly I will explain what that stone is, and then I will also explain about the site where the actual cross was found. The stone on which Jesus' body was laid and embalmed with all those spices and so on, and then wrapped in linen, that stone is still there between Calvary and the sepulchre. At present, it is covered with a marble slab, and the devotees pour oil there and take oil home from there, so it is used in that way. There is nothing very special about the stone. You cannot even see the original stone there, but it is underneath that marble slab. That is the third sacred site in the basilica. The fourth one, perhaps the one of the most important one after Calvary and the sacred sepulchre, is the spot where the real cross was found. That has something really moving, in the sense that it was a great blessing that it was found. Saint Helena spent many years in the Holy Land, and towards the end, one thought that she had was to search for the real cross. She went about searching for it, asked anybody and everybody about it. No one could give a clear answer. Then little hint that she got was this: possibly the real cross is thrown into that pit that is adjacent to Calvary. People told her, apparently, usually if the body is claimed by the relatives, it is taken away. Otherwise, those bodies are also thrown into that pit. The crosses are also thrown into that pit, and it is a pit that is used for dumping all waste, including dead animals and so on. And there was no way of really searching for the cross. But imagine Helena had the courage to go down into that pit. She searched, took out everything that could be found there, and she found there were so many wooden pieces which belonged to some cross. She took out all that, cleaned it, but then how to decide which piece belongs to the real cross of Jesus? That was another dilemma. She took out everything, cleaned everything, and tried to find what the real cross looked like, but no answer. It remained like that for some time. And then one day, a little miracle. What happened is, one sick person was brought to Helena, and Helena prayed over that person. She was not healed. She thought maybe the real cross will heal her. And there were different pieces of cross. She kept one wooden piece near the patient and prayed. There was no effect, no result. Then another piece, and then another piece, and then another piece. Finally, one piece of the cross she kept near the patient and prayed, Jesus, touch this woman, heal her. And it happened. She was healed. From that, Helena understood that should be the real cross. And from that time onwards, whatever part was there from that cross, she collected when she came and then distributed it all over the world. The bigger piece she took to her small church that was in Rome. She had converted one of her palaces into a church, and that church is there still. That church contains the real piece of the Holy Cross. That is in Rome. It is known as Santa Croce di Gerusalemme, the Holy Cross of Jerusalem. And even today, so many pilgrims practically every day go there. It's on the first floor, and people climb up the steps on their knees with that prayer, asking God to touch them, to heal them, and to forgive their sins. So that piece of the cross is there in Rome. There are other pieces kept also in Jerusalem itself. There are pieces that are sent to various church leaders, and at one stage the rings of the bishops had one small piece from that cross. Now perhaps this is not available because already practically it's all exhausted, but there are many monstrances where the piece from the real cross is inserted. There are holy places with the small pieces from the real cross. That was all the work of Saint Helena, and even today we venerate that piece of the real genuine cross practically all over the world. Many cathedrals have small pieces from that. So with that we are linked to the real cross. And that pit was covered and is still in the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre. It is part of that basilica. So that is the fourth holy site that is included in the Basilica of the Holy Sepulchre. So to sum up, there are four holy sites in the basilica. First one, the Calvary. The second one, the Holy Sepulchre. The third one, the stone on which Jesus' body was laid and anointed and prepared for burial. And the fourth one, the pit in which the real cross was found by Saint Helena. With these, you will be able to imagine the Holy Sepulchre. The basilica itself is rather in a bad shape at present. There are parts which are in the risk of collapsing. The Holy Sepulchre was like that, and that was renovated with some 50 experts from the Technical University of Athens. They took 9 months to renovate it, and that renovation was completed just last week towards the end of on 22nd, 23rd of March, and it is now open to the public, to the pilgrims. Why renovation work is not going on? There is one sad fact that the basilica, together with all those holy sites, is in the hands of 6 Christian communities with no agreement among them at all. 3 major Christian communities. The first one is the Latin Church, represented by the Franciscans. The second one is the Greek Orthodox Church. The third one is the Armenian Orthodox Church. They have major portions of the basilica under their possession. There are 3 other minor ones also with small portions in their possession. That is the Syrian Orthodox or Jacobite Church, the Coptic Church, and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. These 3 rather small groups, but they too have certain rights over the basilica, and because of them, they do not come together, agree on any work. And when we propose some renovation, there is always objection. And many of them have simply rights to hang some lights and so on. That's all. But the rights are there, and we have to maintain it. We only hope that one day the whole situation will change. We will be able to protect the holy sites from collapsing. Let us pray for also this intention that the Christians come together, agree on renovation, so that the holy sites will be preserved for posterity. We'll take a short break. We'll come back after a few minutes.